Hello and thank you for coming to my channel. This is Rick's Garage and today we're going to continue on with the build of the Willys Jeep from iXO Collections. Now I've put a link in the descriptions and a QR code on screen that will take you right over to iXO Collections if you'd like to get this for yourself. But without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, in stage 81 we're going to be working on the gun mount and the ammo box. I'll get these parts out. Now this part here is all metal and everything else is plastic. Let's get these parts out. Okay, the first thing we want is the ammo box base. The ammo box, the lid, and the base. And these are just push to fit. Now there is a lip right here on the box, and this is going to go in here like this with this lip going toward that piece right there. You push that all the way down, and that just kind of holds in on its own, just like that. And then we take our lid, and this is going to go in one way. So if you try to put it on and it doesn't fit, then just turn it around the other way and push that on to fit. Just like that. You may have heard that snap. And that all just fits in like that. You don't need to glue it. Okay, we'll put that aside. And we bring over our base right here, or the pole that the gun is going to mount on top of. Again, this is all metal. We're going to take this bracket right here and we're going to attach it to the top of the base. There is a screw hole here, screw hole there. We're going to attach it just like that, and we're going to secure that in with an FM screw. Now the instructions are not very clear exactly what direction this should be facing, but I've got mine facing it at an angle toward this lug hole right here. But that's how that looks once that's installed. Okay, next we're going to bring over our machine gun. And we're going to take this part right here, and we're going to slip it through this part here, this support arm, just like that. And these two holes right here on both sides are going to match up to this hole right here. So this is going to go on just like this. Just like that. Then we're going to take our support arm that we just worked on a moment ago. We're going to slip it over that area right there. And we're going to secure that in using an FM screw. Okay, that's how that looks once that is installed. Just like that. Now don't worry about this being wobbly up here, this being able to turn around. You're going to secure it more stable in place once we get this rod attached just right like that. And we're going to secure that in with an AM screw. Okay, now once the support arm is attached with that AM screw, the gun is pretty well sturdy and firm onto that post. That's how that looks. Okay, next we're going to take our ammo box, and this clip right here is going to slip over the slot that's in there. So this is just a push to fit. That's going to go on just like that, and now you got your ammo box attached. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, stage 82 is a really short pack. The only thing that we have in this pack is the antenna. And I also think that we're getting close to completing the Jeep. I think the only thing left in the Jeep is to do the soft top, which I'm not going to be installing. The person I'm doing this Jeep for has asked that the top be stored in the down position. So other than that, I think this Jeep is almost done, and then after that we get on with the trailer and then the anti-tank gun. So let's see what we got here on the antenna. Okay, now this whole piece is metal, like I said before. This right here is plastic, but everything else is metal. And we're going to start off with this base plate right here, which is plastic. And you'll notice that there are two screw holes on the back, which they're going to line up with those two screw holes that are on the bottom here. And you'll also notice that there are two sides that are cut off. And so it's not rounded, so the flat side. So this can only go in one way, which is going to help you out to align those screws to go in to the back. And we're going to secure that in with two LP screws. Now the LP screws are very tiny screws, and I'm using my PH00 screwdriver for this. I'm also going to have my magnifying glass headset on too, because this is really going to be fiddly. Okay, that's what that looks like with that's installed. There are the screws on the top. Just got to be very careful when you're screwing this in with your screwdriver that when you're doing it, however you're doing it, that you don't bend this wire. But that's how that looks. Okay, next they want you to put in an OP screw in this large hole right here. It's not holding anything in, but that's what they want you to do. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Put the screw onto my screwdriver and get that screwed in. All the way down, and there, that's screws now all the way seated in. Okay, next we're going to take this hose and this hose guide, right like that. I'm going to thread this hose into that guide, just like that. We're going to take our antenna. We're going to fit the hose onto this lug. And see if that's a tight fit. Yeah, it's on there pretty tight. Then we're going to take this hose guide and we're going to put it into that hole right above the screw. I'm going to move this up a little bit. And this is just a push to fit. Just like that. Then we're going to put the other end of the hose down on this guide down here. You'll need some tweezers to pull that through. Now you're going to need your magnifying glass and a good pair of tweezers to get that through that hole. I don't know what the designers were thinking, but that is not easy. In fact, it's very tight as I'm pulling that through. But there's the hose going through that hole, looking just like that. Okay, next we're going to take our antenna. We're going to the left side of the Jeep here in the back. And these two screw holes are going to match up to this screw hole here and this screw hole here. So we're going to attach this just like that using two SM screws, making sure that our hose is, or wire actually, what this really is, or cable, is on the outside. Okay, next we're going to take our cable right here and we're going to thread it in through the underside of this box here, underneath these supports here. Hopefully the camera can see that. I'm going to run it through there. Just like that. And right here there is a hole at the bottom here where the end of this cable is going to go into. Now, this is going to be a little fiddly, so I'm going to try to do this off camera. Okay, so that is a tight fit. But once you get it in, you want to thread it in as far as you can get it in there until the hose is basically taut or all the way through that hole there. So that there is no real excess hose on the outside. So I'm just going to thread that all the way through. So you got quite a lot more hose than what you need. So you can actually cut this if you wanted to. But I'm going to leave mine the way that it is. And there's my hose in. So that's how that's installed. So it comes up through here. Actually, it starts up here, goes all the way down, through there, along this edge here, underneath the support here. You can basically see it right down there, in and into the hole right down there. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 83, this is where we start working on the soft cover for the top. And we also need to make a decision. Are we going to display our model with the top up or with the top down? Now, I've already mentioned previously that the person I'm building this for wants the top to be down and the machine gun installed onto the Jeep. What I'm going to try to do in this video is I'm going to try to show you how to put this onto the supports on the Jeep with the top up. And then after we do that, the Jeep is actually basically completed. After we put the machine gun into the Jeep's done. So let's get on with stage 83. Okay, the first thing we want to do, we want to take our canvas that we have here, looking like this, and we want to try to fold it down just like this. Well, not fold it, but just place it down in that type of a position. And we're going to take our window frames, we're going to position them over those holes on the front and on the back, and then we're going to secure both sides using 10 PP screws. Now, I wish I could tell you that this was easy, but it wasn't. For me, the holes did not line up. Now, this is the inside of the canvas, and you put the screws on the inside, and what I did was I started off with the edge to try to center it up, and this screw went in just fine. This kind of sort of went in fine, but all the other screws, the holes did not perfectly line up, so it made putting this in very, very difficult. It is a frustrating piece to put in, these two frames, and you are going to need your magnifying glass, and you are going to need to take your time just to do the best you can to get these in. Like I said, on mine, the screw holes did not line up, so I actually ended up having to make new screw holes, not through the canvas essentially, but basically through the plastic, the clear plastic that's actually glued onto the canvas. And I used my pointed tweezers to do that, to poke a hole into the clear plastic where the screw is going to go into, so that it can line up perfectly to the other side over here. Now, these bolts, these plastic raised bolts right here, that's where the screw holes are. So it's a little bit easier to line up your screw holes by aligning up to where these nuts are. But that's it. That's the frame in, and hopefully when you do yours, you'll have an easier time that your screw holes will perfectly line up. Now, you have 10 of these that you need to put in, and these are 10 PP screws. Okay, now let's try to get this canvas onto the Jeep. Okay, so essentially you want your supports like this, and this protrusion right here, this part of the front bar, needs to go into the groove that's right here, and then this bar is going to rest on this support. So this is going to go on like this. It's going to rest onto that support, just like that. Now, you want this bar here not to be touching your antenna. So that bar is not touching the antenna. As you can see, there's a little bit of a gap right there. Okay, now we're going to place our tarp on top, like this. This is going to go down like that. Okay, I actually cannot show you how to put this on because my canvas is sewn wrong. This is sewn backward. This really should be, this is the top. This is the top part of the canvas where it has all the nice neat stitching. And you'll notice that when I try to put it onto the Jeep, I'm going to have an incorrect seam that goes across here. The way that this is sewn on is that this is the way that it would actually go across the bar, and then this would then go over the windshield part, and then this seam here would go across the center bar that's on the Jeep. But mine's actually sewn incorrectly. They actually sewed this on backward. This really should be this way around, and then this knot right here, or the seam right here, actually needs to be undone and sewn on the opposite way. And so I'm not going to be able to show you how to put this on because it's just not going to work. And but that's not going to be a problem for me because I'm not going to construct this to where the top is going to be on. I'm going to construct this on a permanent basis where the top is down. So let me get that started and we'll come right back. Okay, so I loosened the screws that are right back here so that I can fold this down into this position. Now you'll notice that they don't go all the way closed, but that's okay. It's not a problem. And then I tighten the screws here at the end. Now when you put this on, you're going to put it on behind the back seat. It's going to rest onto this resting place right here, and then these larger ends are going to go into the hole right here. So this is going to go on just like this. Put the end back here into that hole there, put it in the front hole right here, and then that just rests down just like that. Okay, now let's try to get our canvas to go and tucked in here behind the Jeep. Okay, so that's how I have my canvas all folded up here in the back. I tried to copy the instruction picture as best as I possibly could, but I just essentially just kind of stuck it behind the back seat here. And on the back, you'll notice too that if I remove the gas can, I do have it draped down here down the side a little bit. So it's not totally in the Jeep. And then the gas can hides that a little bit. So we put that gas can back on, like so. And then it's behind the spare wheel a little bit. And let me turn the Jeep around. And then I just have it just a little bit on the side here. You just kind of play with it a little bit and move it around until you get to the look that you're trying to achieve. But that's how I got the canvas on the back of the Jeep. Kind of all folded up. I'm trying to move the Jeep around here so you can see it a little bit better. Turn it around like that. All the way around. So you can see exactly how I did that. Being careful here that I don't bend the antenna there. So I'm moving this Jeep around so you can see the whole entire Jeep all the way around. And that's how I got the canvas in. So I just kind of just folded it up. The window goes straight through the back, and then I just draped it over and just kind of folded it up as best I could. And trying to match the end result look that you see in the instructions. Just like that. Okay, now the last thing that we need to do in this stage is get the machine gun installed. So we're going to take our machine gun, move the Jeep so you can see where this is going to go. So right into these 4 holes right here, we're going to take our machine gun just like this. We're going to match those holes up that are on the base to the holes that are on to the Jeep, and we're going to secure that in with 4 DM screws. Okay, there's our machine gun is installed. Getting these screws in tight and straight is not easy to do because the machine gun is in the way. It would have been a lot easier if we were able to put the machine gun on last. In fact, I would actually recommend that. The machine gun is actually attached right up here, and it would be possible to remove the machine gun, then screw this in down tight, and then replace the machine gun up there. But that's what I've got mine in, and it's all nice and sturdy. It is in there nice and firm. It doesn't move around. And that's our machine gun, and basically that is the end of that stage. And also that means that our Jeep is now complete. Okay, I got the Jeep outside so you can get a really good look on how it looks at the end of this stage. And it came out really, really well, as you can see. Got the gun in. Here it is on this side. We'll do a top view here so you can see the interior. And what we just completed was putting the machine gun into the Jeep, and we folded up the tarp there at the back. Give you another look here at what the back looks like with that tarp on. So everything came out just great on this. I'll do a final reveal once I complete the trailer and the anti-tank gun, but I thought I would at least give you a 360 view on how the Jeep looks at the end of this stage. Now, one of the things I did forget to mention when I was doing the antenna is that this is a spring loaded. This is a spring here, so this is kind of spring loaded, so it springs back and forth. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, well that's our Jeep, and that's the end of this stage. Yeah, I've been thinking about how to do the tarp on top of the supports here. When you're putting these supports down into this bracket right here, it's balancing into this. It's not really secured tightly in there, and it causes these things to be very wobbly, and they'll fall down and all that when you're trying to put the tarp on. So I was thinking that the best way to do this would be to secure the tarp on the back, as the instructions indicate. And then once they're secured and tied onto the back of the Jeep, then drape your tarp over toward the windshield. And then position your supports in where it's supposed to go. And with the pressure of the tarp on top of the supports, it should hold those supports in place for you then to secure it onto the windshield where they're supposed to go. If you do it the other way around, the way the instructions imply, where you put this on first and then drape it over, I don't think it's going to work. When I tried to do that before I discovered that my tarp was sewn on backward, these things fell off. They wouldn't stay in place. And that's because, again, they're just balanced into this crevice right here under this part on both sides. So I think the best way to do this is to first secure it onto the back of the Jeep like they show in the instructions. Move your tarp over this way, and then put your supports in place, and then with the tarp putting pressure onto the supports, it should hold those into place while you're putting the securing the tarp onto the windshield. Hope that tip works out for you. Again, I'm not going to be doing that, but I've been thinking about it, and I wanted to do the best I could to help you out on how to get the tarp on top of the supports if you wanted the soft top in place and not have the gun installed. Okay, let's get on with the build. Okay, now that we got our Jeep done, we can now start to work on our trailer, and the first thing we're going to do is going to work on the left hand side of the trailer. This is the left side of the trailer right here. It's all done in metal, and I know it's the left because these hooks that we have on the underneath, it has an L printed on all of them. So that tells me that we're going to be working on the left. And then we have this piece right here. So we're going to take our left panel looking like this, and this way around. Then we're going to take this plastic panel right here. We're going to place it right over just like that. Then we're going to turn it over, and you'll notice that we have a keyhole pattern all along the underside of this panel. We're going to take our hooks that we have, and the hooks are in a key shape, as you can see. It's going to match the key shape hole right there. This is going to go in just like that. Then we're going to turn it over, and we're going to secure those in with an FP screw. Okay, there's our first one in. Got our second one in. Turn it over. And I already have my screw loaded. Put it in there and screw them in. That's it. And we'll do that for the other two. And that's all of our hooks installed on the left panel. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Now, if you hear some banging or noise in the background, that's our neighbor putting up a new roof. We've had quite a few of our neighbors needed to have a new roof lately, so that's been kind of a popular thing around here. Fortunately, we don't need one. But that's all of our hooks that are in, and that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, now what you do on the left, you have to repeat on the right, which is what we're going to do in this stage. We're going to do the right side of the trailer. Now, since I've already shown you how to put this together, I'm going to go ahead and put it together off camera and come back and show you what that looks like. Okay, there's our left and right panels with our hooks in, and that's all there is to do in that stage, and that's all there is to do in that pack. Okay, this was a great pack. We got our gun installed onto the Jeep. We got the soft canvas there tucked away on the back of the Jeep, and we got our bars installed, the support rods. And so basically we have completed the construction of the Jeep, and we're moving right on to the trailer. We got our left and our right side panels done and with our hooks installed, and pretty soon we'll be done with this entire build. So we only have the trailer to do and the anti-tank gun, and then we're going to be completely done. So this was a monumental pack that we've done today. Now I've put a link in the descriptions and a QR code on screen that will take you right on over to iXO Collections if you'd like to get this for yourself. I really hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, as this does help the channel. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please do so, and also the bell icon, as that not only also helps the channel, but it will also notify you of new videos that are coming out. Other than that, always have fun in your garage, your workshop, or wherever it is that you build your models. And until next time, thanks for watching.